The Israel Defense Forces now saying they have proof that Hamas is stealing vast amounts of fuel from hospitals in Gaza by intercepting a phone call between a hospital official and a Hamas commander who justified taking gas by stating Hamas is, quote, working as a government for the sake of the country. 2 weeks ago, United Nations Relief and Works Agency reported Hamas is stealing fuel and medical supplies meant for refugees in Gaza City, while hospitals right now are running dangerously low on fuel. Joining me now is Provash Budden, Deputy Senior Vice President of Emergency Programs for global nonprofit Americares. Provash, thank you so much for your time. The reality is that Hamas does appear to be stockpiling plenty of supplies, fuel. How can humanitarian aid actually even get to the civilians who are being devastated by these constant strikes?
Hi, Nichole. Thank you. Americares is extremely concerned about the plight of civilians across Gaza at this time. As your reporter has pointed out, the medical conditions and health conditions for millions of people in Gaza is absolutely dire. And their only recourse is to be able to access health facilities and hospitals and clinics providing support. And as we know, about 40% of hospitals in Gaza have been damaged or don't have access to fuel to operate, and another 70% of primary health clinics face the same situation. A lot of aid agencies on the ground have years of experience of working in Gaza and work with trusted partners, work with NGO groups and other civilian groups to do their due diligence to get the needed aid, medicines, medical supplies, and medical services to populations in need. So we need to make sure that aid coming through Egypt is increased. It's encouraging to see that 55 trucks went over yesterday. That's more than the week before, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to what the needs are, with over 500 trucks required in a regular environment for Gaza. So we continue advocating for the pipeline of medicines and medical supplies, water and food to be able to cross into Rafah and into organizations that can deliver that essential aid to the population.
And we know that, there are people who are injured and need immediate care, but then there are also the people, cancer patients who need that prolonged care and may not be able to now receive that treatment, through no fault of their own. Is there a way to ensure the aid or fuel or supplies are not getting into the hands of Hamas?
As I said, many operating partners on the ground in Gaza have years of experience to be able to make sure that vital humanitarian aid is given to the civilians that require acute medical attention and longer-term needs. Obviously, it's a challenging environment to operate in, but it's not new for organizations around the world who face similar issues and different conflicts around the world in terms of providing direct assistance to individuals that need that medical attention. And medical attention should never be used as a tool. It should always be given to those that are entering in clinics and hospitals and being provided in an impartial and a humanitarian way.
And Provash, you talked about the trucks coming in, talked about those 55 trucks. Obviously, that helps. But just talk about the scale of the need, because versus what is actually coming in. Because obviously, as you said, something is certainly better than nothing, but, it's nowhere near what is needed to meet what is truly becoming a desperate need by what it looks like.
Yeah, as you know, over 1.4 million people are displaced in Gaza, hundreds of thousands seeking shelter in schools and hospitals, and the healthcare system in itself is at the brink of collapse. Doctors are trying to triage individuals that come to the door and have to make life and death decisions of people who can get medical attention or not. Some of them are operating with the light of their cell phones because there's no power in the clinics or hospitals where they're working in. Surgeries being performed without anesthesia, and preemie babies in incubators that will not continue on because there's no power. Obviously, fuel is needed to power transportation, hospitals, and clinics. And so we're extremely concerned that there is just not enough fuel in Gaza to provide the power for critical medical equipment like ventilators, dialysis machines, and to also desalinate the water, which is critical for medical attention. Clean water is necessary, and if you don't have it, it's going to lead to unsanitary conditions. Also, just the overcrowding in Gaza as people move to the south to look for a safer place. People are living out on the streets, and there's deep concern about an impeding winter, colder conditions, respiratory disease, and other skin infections that arise that we see from different events where there is overcrowding. And all of this takes a toll on the mental health and the psychosocial needs for millions and millions of people who are facing this trauma. Even older generations can recall times where there has been violence in their communities and are still suffering from trauma. And so we do have to look at the long-term effects, not only the critical humanitarian needs right now, but the long-term effects of mental health and psychosocial conditions for millions of people that are affected by this current crisis.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.